Hello, fellow book lovers. Welcome to Audiobook Odyssey, your gateway to timeless stories and transformative reads. Today, we're exploring the powerful insights of one of the most influential self-help books of our time, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. So, let's get started. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl is more than just a memoir of survival. It's a profound exploration of the human spirit's capacity to find meaning even in the darkest of circumstances. The book opens in a place that has witnessed the absolute worst of humanity, the Nazi concentration camps. Frankl, a psychiatrist and neurologist from Vienna, was arrested during World War II and sent to Auschwitz, one of the most brutal camps. What makes his narrative striking is not just the horror of what he experienced, but the psychological insight with which he observes it. He divides the book into two parts. The first is a personal account of his life in the camps. The second lays out the principles of logotherapy, a psychological approach he developed, centered around finding meaning in life. In the camps, prisoners were stripped of everything: their clothes, names, families, and identities. Frankl noticed something deeply disturbing: the ones who gave up on life died sooner. But those who could find a reason to live, some sense of meaning, were far more likely to survive, even amid starvation, disease, and brutality. He recalls how some prisoners clung to memories of loved ones, dreams of future goals, or even small acts of kindness or humor. These moments of inner strength, though invisible, often meant the difference between life and death. Frankl describes how suffering, if given meaning, can be transformed. He writes, "Those who have a why to live can bear almost anyhow." This quote, borrowed from Nietzsche, becomes the heartbeat of his philosophy. Frankl discovered that even in a place designed to crush the human soul, a person's inner world could remain free. One of the most powerful moments comes when he talks about marching to work in the snow, his body aching, half-starved. In that moment, he closes his eyes and imagines his wife's face. He doesn't even know if she is alive. But in his mind, she becomes present. He writes, "Love goes very far beyond the physical person of the beloved. It finds its deepest meaning in his spiritual being, his inner self." In that moment of suffering, love became his refuge and his purpose. Frankl makes it clear, suffering is not necessary to find meaning. But when it is unavoidable, it offers a chance to discover deeper truths. Life, he says, is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by a lack of meaning and purpose. In the second part of the book, Frankl introduces logotherapy, a form of existential analysis. The central idea is this: life has meaning under all conditions, even the most miserable ones. It's not about asking what we expect from life, but what life expects from us. Logotherapy suggests that meaning can be found in three ways. Through work, doing something significant. Through love, caring for another person. Through suffering, turning personal tragedy into triumph. He tells the story of a man who came to him after losing his wife. The man was devastated. Frankl asked him, "What would have happened if you had died first, and your wife had survived you?" The man answered that she would have suffered terribly. Frankl gently responded, "You see, you have spared her that suffering, at the price of your own." Suddenly, the man's grief became meaningful. He saw his pain as an act of love. Frankl believed that our primary drive as humans is not pleasure, as Freud suggested, or power, as Adler claimed. Instead, it is meaning. When people lose sight of meaning, they fall into despair or what he calls the existential vacuum. This often manifests as depression, aggression, or addiction, not because of mental illness, but because life feels empty. He explains that freedom is only part of the story. The other half is responsibility. We are free to choose, yes, but we are also responsible for what we choose. Each day, each moment, presents a question, and we must answer it through action, attitude, or endurance. As the book nears its close, Frankl reflects on life after the camps. Freedom, he says, can be terrifying after extreme captivity. Many survivors struggled to find purpose again. But for Frankl, the answer was clear: to turn his pain into service. He dedicated his life to helping others find meaning in their own lives, no matter their circumstances. He doesn't offer easy solutions or false optimism. He acknowledges life's suffering, cruelty, and unpredictability. But through it all, he insists that life has meaning, always. Even if the only thing left to us is our attitude, that alone can be our victory. Man's search for meaning is not just about surviving hell. It's about transforming it into something that makes you more human, not less. It's about understanding that while we cannot always control our circumstances, we can always control our response. And in that response lies our ultimate freedom. Thanks for listening. If this summary inspired you, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Audiobook Odyssey for more life-changing book insights.